Hi, welcome. We're gonna start by sitting down and just kind of rocking ourselves side to side, trying to find our sits bone, and then bring your heels together, arms long, and start to push into your heels to straighten your legs. As you're digging your heels together to push, you're sliding out and think of trying to squeeze your knees into each other, like you have one pencil as a leg. Bending at the knees, pull in, extending the legs, push out. Now the heels can't leave each other, they have to stay super glued the entire time. Ask yourself if your spine can get in a little longer. Now on this next one, as you push your legs out straight, open up your left arm, look over to the left. Come back in, bend at the knees, then over to the right. And you're gonna feel this twisting in your belly button, twisting from your spine. It's the arms that follow the body, not the body that follows the arms. Cool? Now, as you're twisting from the spine, can you really push even deeper and further from the heels, feeling that length all the way down your legs, through your spine, and everywhere. Heels are still being super glued to each other and trying to be dramatic about this. How long can you get the legs? How much can you squish them into each other every time they straighten? How much can you twist and feel it from your spine? Now let's take the legs out nice and long like a straddle. Bend at the knees, toes point towards your face. And now as you push your arms away from you, straighten out the legs and point your toes to the floor. Sweep the arms back in and push. There's a lot of hinging happening here, so we're trying to push the glutes back to fold over and straighten the legs at the same time. As you fold, point your toes, push your toes out of your body, and try to touch your toes to the floor. It won't happen, but that's what we're looking for and what we're feeling for. Instead of just dumping your chest to the floor, can it feel like you're pushing your glutes so much out of your body that you fold over? Good. Inhale, coming in. Exhale, out. A couple more here. Let's really focus on the toes touching the floor and that exhale every time you fold over. Good. And now let's grab our band, bring it over your knees and stay sitting on your booty. Walk your feet out a little wider than your hips and have your toes kind of pointing at your face. Getting into abductions, we're going to start to push our glutes back and out of our body as we hinge, and the chest will go towards the knees. Now remember, this point is not to try to get your chest to touch the floor. Rather, can you think of pushing your booty out of your body and opening your knees at the same time? We're using the tension of the band to look for more tension in our glutes. Now you have options here with your hands. They can stay where they were at prayer position, or maybe even holding on to your glutes just to be physical with your body, to be like, hey, I need you to turn on, booty, okay? The whole point of this is to feel it in the glutes. Beautiful. You also have the option of taking your hands back behind you and dropping them to the floor, almost like little helpers back there. Maybe you feel your glutes more this way. You choose whatever helps you find your glutes. Two more here. Spine still really long, really trying to find those glutes. And on this one, let's hold it out. Meet me here. And we pulse out an inch, in an inch with those knees, looking for the glutes to be the reason why we're even doing this. Good. Little hinging happening as you pulse. For 5. Good. 4. Out in 3, 2, and 1. Good. Take your elbows to the floor right next to your hips. Keep the band where it is, and we're going to scoot our booty forward so that we can lay on our elbows on our forearms. Let's start to bicycle the legs. Straightening one leg, bringing it back in, and then straightening out the other, and using the band to really push into to find tension. Now we're really trying to press the tailbone into the floor. Shoulders are pulled back, pressing into the forearms as you switch. Good. Now switching both at the same time, both legs are moving as one straightens and one bends. Can the shoulders pull back a little bit more? Can the neck get a little longer? There should be no folding behind you. Beautiful. Now let's lay all the way down and bring your arms down to your side. Lower your legs to a point where your tailbone is really digging into the floor. We circle the legs one at a time, taking it all the way out, in towards the body and back up. All the way out, in towards the body and back up. Now the leg's never going to touch the floor unless you need it to, when you need a little second for yourself, and that's okay. Think of pressing your tailbone really hard into the floor, your belly button down into the floor, and your rib cage down into the floor as you let the legs move. Shoulders are pressing down, head is pressing down, fingers are pressing down. Whatever's touching the floor, use it as you slowly control the legs as they move. Good. Now let's do both legs at the same time. They both come in. They both go wide and out like a straddle. Pull them back in and up. You're staying in a circle where you feel it. If you go too high, you're not going to feel that tension in your core. And that's what we're looking for as the tailbone maintains digging into the floor. Beautiful. We have 3 more circles. Try to go as slow and controlled as you can. Here comes 2. Really good. Last one. Press into the band to take it out and in. Bring the knees in towards your chest. Beautiful. Now let's go back to dead bug legs, bicycle legs. That just means one leg is straightening and then the other. And again, we're trying to maintain digging that tailbone into the floor so much that we can make a hole in the floor. Shoulders are pulling back and you're finding length in the front of your hips and your hip flexors as you're switching. The whole point of today is to really find and notice where are our hip flexors in our bodies and how can we use them properly. Good. Looking for length as you stretch. Good. So keep that the focus for now. How much can I find length in the front of my legs as I dig my tailbone and my belly button and my rib cage into the floor, really engaging the core. Beautiful. Pressing the fingertips if you need them. Now bring the heels together, toes apart, and press your legs straight as you come up off of the floor. Shoulders come off, maybe pressing into your elbows very hard to help you lift. Good. Legs will hover. As you lift, you exhale. Now every time the legs go straight, can you make a pencil with those legs again? You have one leg when you straighten. Knees flare out as you come down. Good. Exhale, you lift, push. Can those heels stay super glued together the entire time? Stay up on this one. Hold for 3. Pull the belly button down deeper. And 1. Now take the legs out wide. Good. You are 2 inches off the floor with your heels. You're pushing out from your hips, and that's why your legs get to open. Keep pulling the belly button down. Press into your forearms for help. Exhale as you open. Oof. Good. These really burn, I know, but we're almost out of it. Good. Keep pulling the belly button down and drop. Good. Heels to the floor, feet to the floor. Let's start with some hip thrusts, arms long to the side. Lift your hips up to the sky. Lower your glutes down towards the floor, tap and lift back up. Good. Now, if you're noticing your knees collapsing towards each other, can you just push them open just a little bit? And think of stretching your booty to the floor to tap the tailbone and then squeeze your glutes so tight to come up. Something else to think about are those heels digging into the floor as well. And think of pushing your knees forward in front of you. And notice how you start to feel the glutes just a bit more as you do that. Good. Belly button pulling in. And now every time that you lift, can you push the knees out wide? Lower down. As you lift, open. As you drop, you close. Opening up, expanding the hips and lowering. Now the glutes and the hips get to work together. And the knees get to go wide as an aftermath of it. Good. Can the core stay engaged as you're lifting and dropping? Can the belly button touch and kiss the spine the entire time? You have 3 more here, so let's really try to find the glutes. Lower down, squeeze as you lift, bust the knees open. Good. Now bring the arms up to the sky, stay up with the hips and pulse the knees out, digging into the heels, opening from the hips. Now add the hips to it. Hips lower, lift, push the knees out. Hips lower, lift, push the knees out. Good. It's micro movements in both directions. Good. Now dig your right heel into the floor, straighten out the left leg to the sky and make big, beautiful circles with that left leg going out, in, and back up. The hips don't need to be high, but you do need to squeeze very tight into that right glute. Maybe lift up 1 more centimeter if you're able to. and keep digging into your right heel. Now let's slow down these last 2 big circles. Good. And drop the foot to the floor. Dig into your left heel now. Straighten out the right leg to the sky. Big, beautiful circles going out, in and down, then back up. Good. Can you keep the hips engaged and high, the glutes tight? The left heel digging. Breathing. Even weight in both sides. We're not leaning too much to one side or the other. Continue to lift the hips and pull the rib cage down to kiss your spine. Keep digging into that left heel. Finding your long, deep breath. Good. We're going to go as slow as we can for these last. Good. Almost out of it, and drop the foot. Drop your hips to the floor. Bring your knees into your chest and rock yourself up. Now come over and let's lay on our left hip and our left forearm. We're getting into clamshells. Heels are super glued together. It's the trend for today, so get used to it. And we're starting to push the knees open, bust the knees open if you will, to squeeze the glutes together. Now I used to do this incorrectly, but it looked correct all the time. Just because I was opening and closing my knees didn't really mean that I knew how to engage my glutes in order to open the knees. So can the motion, can the tension, and everything that you're focused on really come from the glutes squeezing behind you? And the knees are just what we see from the hard work you're doing behind you. Digging those heels into each other. And maybe only going halfway down so the band doesn't lose tension, and then all the way back behind you. So it feels like your booty cheeks are kissing behind you. Although that left bottom knee is on the floor, can you envision both of your knees opening and pushing back like you're on an abductor machine? Opening up both knees, but really we're just isolating that right top glute. Looking for the top glute to burn. Now keep the band expanded open and pulse it back from your glutes squeezing. Good. Keep digging the heels into each other for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Lay all the way down, straighten out your bottom arm long. Make some space between your belly and the floor. So there should be some space there. You'll see me pointing out where this should be happening. Dig your bottom hip into the floor to get your legs to hover off the floor, and start to scissor the legs forward and back. One will go forward as the other one goes back. Then you switch. Now the band is making you try to collapse the knees towards each other, but can you keep them kind of separate, keeping some tension in the band? Keep digging your hip into the floor and trying to keep some space between you and your belly and the floor. Good. The tips of your fingers from your top hand is helping you balance so you're not rocking back and forth through your upper body. It's just the legs swishing forward and back. Good. Remember, the whole reason why we're doing this session today is to really talk to the hips and notice them and be aware of them. So can you think of that as you're moving? Drop the bottom leg a little bit behind you, and the front leg stays 1 inch forward as you pulse it up and down, keeping a light bend in your knee as you lift and as you drop. Still digging into your hip on the floor so you can be balanced. Good. Lifting from the glute and the hip. Coming all the way up now, coming up onto your forearm. Get into a comfortable position for lifted clamshells. Those heels stay super glued. You know that's not going to change. But now you're going to start to feel this more in the bottom glute, that right glute. Good. As you're dropping the hips back down towards the floor, can you notice your core engaging? As you're lifting, can you use your glutes to squeeze back behind you to bust the band open? Let's break the band. Good. Beautiful. Now that top arm, you can do whatever you like. I just like to straighten it to make sure that I'm not losing my posture and my form. I want my spine really long and my neck really long. No collapsing here. Now reach for your weight and straighten out the legs and open them to turn into a letter V. Reach the arm between. Now get yourself in the proper position so that way you can get back into that hip lift. Good. Lower yourself back down, open, close, lift the hips, drop, open into a V, close, and lift. Now you'll notice the arms are constantly moving at the same time, so that top arm is going to go into a tricep extension overhead, and then for a reach through the feet as you open. Good. Now we won't feel it too much in this one. It's just kind of some mobility to help us catch our breath and just add some flow as we move on to the next one. Good. Staying with your slow and controlled breath. And let that be your last one. Lose the weight and let's get back into hip dips, keeping both knees together, both heels together, dropping and lifting the hips only. So keeping the knees together, it's not about the legs anymore, more so stretching the hip to the floor and starting to notice the side, the obliques, really working to lift you and drop you. Beautiful. I like to take my hand to my chest, underneath my chest rather, so I can really start to notice, am I using these muscles correctly? Exhaling as you lift, inhaling as you drop. Good. Pressing into the forearm, pulling the shoulders back, keeping the neck long. You know what to do. And lower yourself down. Let's stand on both knees and bring your left hand down to the floor next to your left leg. Straighten out the right leg out and off the floor. And now start to pull your right heel all the way in towards your glute as much as you can and push the heel to something behind you. Think of a box that you're going to push away from you. But this is really coming from the glute. So can you squeeze the glute tight and push the glute back a lot and your leg gets to follow you. Now that leg is going to want to drop and the knee's going to want to get droopy and you say, no, I need you high. So keep bringing your knee higher and higher. If you notice it dropping, using the band to push into as you squeeze the glute and the heel back. Now keep it back and pulse it. Keep pulsing to burn it out and drop. Whew. Okay. Now keep a light bend in that top leg. We're going to swing it forward, drop it to the floor and swing it back. Good. Now you're not going to be able to lift it too high. I know I couldn't because actually the bottom leg, that glute is burning so freaking much. The left glute. Good. This right leg is just kind of a distraction. And you do it to the point where you can. Maybe it's just 2 inches forward and 2 inches back. But try to challenge yourself. Good. Now drop your right knee to the floor. Straighten out your left leg behind you. And we're going to go into 1 abduction to 1 donkey kick. Take the left knee all the way out to the left. Bring it back in. And then straighten it back behind you. Good. I like to drop down onto my right elbow just so I can put more weight into my left side. And to do that, you want to really dig hard into your left hand. 1 donkey kick into 1 abduction. And make sure, am I feeling this from my glute or am I just swinging my leg back and forth? Find the glute, use it, and use the hip bone to push out to the left for the abduction and then bring it back for the donkey kick. Good. If you have a band with you today, really use it. It's a great tool to use to really feel your body. Are you using the right muscles? Good. Keeping it slow. Maintaining that connection to your glute. Keeping that mind to muscle connection as you lift and straighten, as you lower and take it out to the left. On this next one, keep the leg straight back behind you, hold it high and release. Good. Now come onto your left knee and your left hand rather than the hip this time. And we're going to take knee to elbow for a side crunch. Good. Now every time that you take the knee to elbow, can you dip your hip to the floor and find that stretching of your hip as you lower and as you lift. So it kind of looks like a hip dip, but a little different. And you'll notice how they feel a little bit the same, but different. Good. Really pulling the rib cage back and the belly button back as you're moving through this. Good. Now bear with me. I know that the scene keeps changing, but my phone kept overheating and I was super frustrated, but thanks for just following through. And now to the other side. Let's lay on our right hip this time. We're on our right forearm and we have clamshells. Keeping those heels super glued together. You're a pro at this. And you know what you're doing now. Really talking to that top left glute this time as you're opening and closing. So whenever you're just laying on the floor, it's the top glute that you're really feeling. And then when we start to do those lifted clamshells, it's the bottom glute that you'll feel. Good. Now I'm only going halfway down so I can keep tension in the band. And if you don't have a band today, don't worry. Just try to find that tension within your body and pretend you have a band. A lot of the times I never use even equipment when I do a lot of these exercises. I just like to add them because they are great tools, but you don't necessarily need them. Good. Pulling the shoulders back, keeping the neck long. On this next one, keep it open and pulse it back by squeezing those glutes together. Good. The knee only moves because you're squeezing your booty cheeks together. For 3, for 2, and 1. Let's get into that arm being long underneath us. Lifting the legs off the floor and hovering them by pressing our hip into the floor. And start to scissor the legs, one going forward as the other one goes back, and switching through. If you have that band, use it. It's a great tool. So kind of push your knees into it to expand it. Can you keep the lower half of your belly off of the floor? Good. That top hand is down on the floor in front of you. Fingertips to the floor to support you so that you're not wobbling all over the place. And this one's pretty difficult. So try to move even slower. Try to keep the swing out of your body and just save it for the legs. Good. And only letting the legs go as high as you're able to control the swing. Beautiful. Now drop the bottom leg, take the front leg forward maybe 1 inch and start to pulse it up and down, keeping a light bend in that top knee, lifting from the hip and the glute, lowering from the hip and the glute. The rest of the leg just follows you. Good. And lower down. Beautiful. We're getting into lifted clamshells, so get yourself in position to keep those heels together. Drop the hips, lift the hips to open the knees and bust the knees open. How much can you really notice how your glutes and your core can work together in this move? Those are the primary muscles we're focused on and we're thinking, and we're keeping the mind to muscle connection as we're moving. Good. Keeping the glutes tight as you open the knees and releasing as you drop the hips. Beautiful control. Good. Keep breathing through it. We're almost out of it. Last good one, and lower down, reach for your weight, and let's go into that V kick out. Every time the legs open out into a V, take the arm through like you want to reach for your feet. Bring them back together and hip lift. Good. The arm gets to do some work as well, so the top arm is going to go into a tricep extension every time that you lift, and then reach through as you go into that letter V. Good. Using this time as a chance to get back to your breath, starting to notice the body again and moving it all as one unit. Noticing the arms and the core and the hips working together before we start to isolate again, coming up really soon. Good. We have about 2 more here before we get into hip dips. So finish strong, finish slow, no rush here, and lose the weight. Staying onto that right forearm, the right knee, and let's dip the hips to the floor and lift them back up. Now remember, the whole point of this is to really feel the side oblique pulling in and getting tight into your body. Your body is tightening so that you don't fall to the floor as you're stretching your hip down and up. Good. Pulling the shoulders back, neck long, breathing, belly button pulling back, and rib cage pulling in and down to your spine. Beautiful. Release your glutes. Don't squeeze them. Don't do that. Good. And exhale every single time that you lift. Beautiful form. Now let's lower down. Come up to stand on your knees, and we're going to take that right hand down to the floor next to your right leg. Straighten out the left leg out to the side and pull your left heel all the way in towards your glute as much as you can, and start to push that heel back like there's a door or a box or something that you can push back. Now the force and the intention's not in the heel, it's in the glute. So as much as you're able to push your hip back, your glute back, the heel follows and pushes the box. Yeah, can you envision that? You using your glute to move your heel. Can you lift the hip a little higher, the knee a little higher to keep the tension burning? We don't shy away from it. Good. Good control. knee a little higher. And now we're going to pulse it back for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right, let's get back to it. Keep that right knee where it is. Straighten out the left leg. Have a light bend in your left leg to swing it forward. Tap. Swing it back. Now, I was dying here, so give me a second. But that right glute is burning, right? And we want to stay moving through it as slow and controlled as we can. Keep stretching the right glute back to help you. Good. Do whatever you need to. Maybe fingertips will help you a little bit more here. Good. Control. Breathe through it. I know. We're almost out of it. Beautiful. I'm giving you all just a little extra because I felt myself wanting to quit, and I said, no way. We're going to keep going. So stay with me. Keep stretching that right glute back. Keep pulling the shoulders back, staying long to the sky as you move and you drop. Good. Now let's use that right glute again for a donkey kick into abduction. Let's not waste that tightness, that tension that we built. And again, sorry for the screen change. The phone overheated yet again. Okay, now talk to the leg. You're only going to lower it to a point where you still feel tension and you can control it. And you're only going to bend the knee as much and lower as much as you feel tension. So whatever you're doing, you know you have to go out and to the right and then back and straighten. And now it's up to you to focus on how can I keep this tension in my glute? How can I feel it the most at the top and end of the range? Good. Taking it all the way out to the right, taking it back to lift and squeeze. Now you can be down on that left elbow or maybe on both palms, just whatever helps you stabilize your hips and not make you sink to one side or the other. I like to press a lot of weight into my right hand so that all the weight is going right into my right glute. Now remember again, why we're doing this session is to really focus on moving correctly, using the joints correctly, and seeing as you push the knee out to the right, control it on the way in and kind of feel like a stretch in the front of your right hip as you use your glute. That's a good sign that you're not moving around the hip too much. We want to stabilize the joint, the hip, and use the glute, the muscle. Now keep the leg straight, hold it, and release. Good. Okay. Now let's tuck the toes, get the knees a little wider, the feet a little wider, hands to the floor, and lift the knees off the floor and tap them back down. Good. The next time you lift, can you open the knees out wide like you're doing a clamshell and come back down? Lift, open, close, drop. Lift, open, close, drop. Keep lifting from the hips, lifting from the belly button, keeping the core super engaged. We're not here for long. It's the finisher. And that's it. Good. Okay. Again, bear with me. The clips were all over the place today, but we're stretching. So take that right foot forward in front of you. We're going into a deep lunge stretch. Maybe your hands are on the floor. If you're able to go deeper, you drop down onto those elbows, pushing down your hips to the floor. Slowly coming up, let's start to walk that right foot over to the left side of the mat and drop the right knee to the floor. Walk your left leg back behind you so that you can drop onto your elbows, pigeon pose, and try to stretch your right glute back behind you to sit on the floor as you press your hips down. And breathing. Good. Now bend at your left knee, and we're going to pull the heel in towards the glute. Grab onto it with your left hand and pull the heel in as much as you can. Try to touch your butt. Good. You're on that right palm for stability. Pulling, 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 and release. Walk that left leg a little closer to you so you can get out of this bind, and let's switch. Left leg steps forward. Walk the right leg back a little bit just to get deep into this lunge. Maybe you're on your hands. Maybe you're on your elbows. Just seeing what this side of the body is asking for. Breathing deeply and slowly. Now coming back up onto the hands to walk the left foot over to the right side of the mat. Drop the knee down to the floor, walk your right leg back, and push your hips down. Maybe you're on the hands or your elbows, and try to sit your left glute back and find that stretch in your left hip. Good. Breathing. Control. Good job today, everybody. A lot of awareness, right? Now pull the right heel in towards the glute, grab the right hand and the foot together to pull the heel all the way towards your butt as much as you can. Keep pulling, pulling, pulling. Good. Feel that release in the front of the hip joint and release it. Walk the right knee in a little closer. Step the left foot back. Turn your palms to look at the sky and push your hips back for an extended child's pose. You can stay here as long as you want. Good job, everybody. I'll see you next time. Mwah.